Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So if you come to the Digital Earth Africa Map portal, we have the data catalog section. You can actually get access to the data catalog section by clicking on the Explore Map Data. Once you click on the Explore Map Data, you're going to have a section which contains all the data sets, and they have been categorically arranged under themes. So today, what you're actually going to look into it will be the category under the land cover. So under the land cover, we have the impact of the regulatory land use land cover, which is, if you click on it, to give you that information, and the global estimate of 10 class land use land cover for 2020, and it's derived from the ESA Sentinel-3 measure at 10-meter resolution. So that's one data set that is currently available, and it's for the year 2020. Then the next one that we have is the ESA world cover. So the world cover is also 2020. It's also a global, and it's also 10-meter resolution. So right now you've actually masked it only out for Ghana, and that one also has 11 land cover, land use classes cover, while the the impact of the regulatory land use land cover has 10 land cover classes. So I've already added to the map. So if you look at my workbench, you actually see the ESA world cover here. And the ESA world cover has it has 11 classes for land use land cover. And the impact of the regulatory land use land cover has 10 land classes for land use land cover. Mind you, all this land use land cover is actually based on the 2020 Landsat data, and also based on some machine learning algorithm that they have actually mapped for the whole country. So that's what they actually use. That's what they actually use it for, to make this land use land cover observatory. If you want more information on this, once you load it and you click on the about data, it's going to give you all the necessary information you can get about this particular land use land cover that we have for the platform. So right now that we've actually uploaded the data, the next thing is actually to visualize the data. So you can click on the data here, and you can click on it also here. Then the data will actually load it for the whole of the African continent that we have. We want this session to be more of interactive. So what I'll be happy is if you can actually provide me with an area that you will be happy to see what has actually the land use land cover for that particular area. Then after that, we can compare the two different sets using the compare to see how this data set can actually help us to can actually help us when it comes to the land use land cover for a particular area. So at this point, I'll be happy if anyone will actually pinpoint us to any location of interest that they will be happy for us to go there and use the data sets that we have right now to check the land use and the land cover for that area. So you can turn on your mic and provide us feedback on it, or you can put it in the chat. You just zoom to that particular area, then all of us can look at the changes that have actually happened over that time. Please, can you hear me?
I put Cairo, Egypt in the chat.
Okay, in the chat. Oh, okay. Thank you, Victoria. Okay, so let's go there. So once I'll go to the chat, then I'll type it and then I'll click on select. Okay, so this is the area that Victoria, just click on it. So you want to see the land use land cover for this particular area in 2020. After that, the next one, we actually also move to Kampala to see what is the land use land cover for that particular area. So right now, the area that you are seeing right now is the ESA world cover map for Kampala region. The red ones are the built up areas. The gray is based on the legend, is a bare or sparse vegetation. We also have the croplands, which is actually the pink one. Then you have tree covers. So the green ones you see there is the tree covers. And you also have the moss and the hitching. So based on the legend, you'll be able to see all this information from the ESA world cover mapping. And the resolution for this mapping is 10 meters. Right now that we've actually loaded, let's also compare it with the impact observatory data. So one way I can do it by turning it off and loading the impact observatory data. So with the impact also, you also realize that you also have the bare land, you also have the crops, it also have the bare ground, and also have the vegetation. So what we can actually do here is to compare those two maps to see what has actually been changing. So to do that, you will use this compare button here, using this compare to. So once I click on this compare to, I have to now specify how I want it to look like. So I want my ECA map to be on the left, which is already on the left. Then I want the impact of the observatory land use land cover to be on the right. So right now on the left section, which is here, is the ESA world cover. And on the right side is the impact of the observatory land use land cover. So using this compared to, you can actually move through and see the differences between these particular satellite images that is available. So you notice that for the ECA, some areas are being picked as tree covers, but for the impact land observatory, some areas, those areas are being picked up as crops, as you can see. So having these two, you can actually go there, visualize it, and use it to know the current land use land cover for that particular area. And one great thing is you can also superimpose some of the already existing tools, which we'll do that later on. But right now, our focus is to make sure that you're able to appreciate the land use land cover for a particular area. And once you have this comparison, by default, when you click on the share tool, you can generate a link. And if that link is being shared with all of you, you're going to have that same, what you're going to see what I'm seeing currently here at my end. So this is the land use land cover for Cairo. Now let's move on to the next one, which is Kampala. So you go to the search tool, then you type Kampala. That's Uganda. So you have Kampala here. It's Uganda. So you click on it, then the map will actually send us there straight for it. Because we've already enabled the compared to, the two data sets will load for us. So once the two data sets are loaded for us, you are going to have these two land use land cover, one on the left side and one on the right side. Wow, so interesting. According to the impact observatory, all the area of Kampala is built up areas. Let me zoom out a little. All the area within the Kampala is built up areas. But if you check the ESA one, you notice that we have some vegetation in it, we have some grassland in it. Yes, yes. So you have all this. So this is within Kampala, the region of in Uganda. But if you look at the, you notice that a lot of all the areas are within the built-up areas for those particular areas that we have. So this is also for the area of Uganda, and you can pick it up and do further investigation behind it, because the data is there just to help you have an initial idea of what is happening. Then once you have a validation data, you can also superimpose on it and see how best you can train the data that you have. What is the next area that you'll be checking? So this one, once I click on the share, copy it, and I paste it in the charts. Once you open it, you're also going to see what I'm just seeing right now. The next area is MES. Mayas. So that's also in Kenya. So you click on that particular area. Then it also gives us the land use land cover for these two particular areas that we are having. So you notice that we have it, all of them has its way of doing their classification. For this particular area, ESA gives more of in-depth details of these particular areas. But the impact overlay also classify a lot of these areas as built up areas. So having these three data sets, you can actually do a comparison and to know which data sets you would want to use for the area of, for the research that you are, or for whatever work you want to use for decision makers. You also have that particular idea. So having these two gives us that idea and that usage of the tools that we also have for that particular areas. Okay, the other area that's coming in is Bamako. Bamako in Niger, in Mali, sorry. So once you move to those areas, you'll be able to compare these particular two products for those particular areas. Let's see how this area is actually going to load up also for that area. So if you want a land use land cover product for an area that you are interested in working with, once you come to the platform, you'll be able to get that particular area that you want. And you are not going to only have one data set, but you have the chance to use these two data sets and even compare which one will suit the ones you would like to work with. So as you can see with the ESA, it has more in-depth pixel quality, and the impact of the tree land use land cover also has its own format. So based on the ones that you think it will be much more appreciated to decision makers and for them to use it, you can just use that particular one and also use it at your side. So once you have this one, what you can do is click on the share, then you click on the copy, then you can share it with anybody that you want to share with that particular person. So this is some of the things or the tools that is actually available for you, the data which is currently also available for you to use in the system. One other way for you to also visualize, maybe you don't actually want to do the compare, is to use the opacity. So right now, currently, the one on top is the ESA, which is this one. So the ESA is on top and the impact land of the tree is below. That's the arrangement. So if you want to see what is below the ESA, you can use the opacity by dropping it down. So if you drop it down, you notice that the impact of the observatory land use land cover is actually showing up. So you can also use this opacity to create a nice combination of a combined image beneath it. So you can actually know, okay, so this is how this one is also working for that particular area. So for instance, if you look below this side, at this particular area, you notice that for the ESA, you have a lot of croplands showing around this side where my mouse is moving. But if you are going to use the word observatory, you can also scroll it down. And also, you also see the difference, what observatory is also showing at that particular side. So using the opacity also, you can actually also check what is beneath that particular image without doing the comparison tool. And that one also can give you an idea of how those two data sets or those two products actually complement each other. They complement each other for those particular areas that we have. So having these data sets available, just go there, go to the explore map section, then overlay this particular map over the area that you are interested in and see what will actually happen for that particular area. One interesting thing that I wanted us to check was also to get already existing data that we also have, such as the crop mass also onto this area. So I would like us to go to Morocco. There was one town here. So you can zoom all the way to Morocco. Then what you do is you want to add the crop map extent for the Northern Africa. So you click it here. Let's turn this to off so that the crop maps will actually load quickly. Yep. So this is the crop areas that has been identified as crop areas within the Northern Africa. So wherever we see green, that is what we identify as cropland. And we would like to superimpose what some of the land use land cover on it for them to also show how best you can compare all these data sets when they come at those areas and also do that comparison. So for areas also that you also have these ones, you can also know that okay, it's actually an area of crops that we have around the area. So all these areas are being determined as crops from the crop mass, and you can actually combine it with this land use land cover. Combine it with this land use land cover to actually generate a great story that you can actually share it with individuals and for others to also talk about these areas, such as the crops and the non-crop area. So this is for the northern part of Africa. We can also add the western part of the crop mask. So once I click on the ideal zoom, it will take me to the area of the western part of the crop mask, which is this side of Africa. And you can actually zoom to that particular area. So we can zoom to Nigeria. Perfect. So you can zoom to Nigeria. So this is the crop plan. Let me zoom out a little. Let me turn this one off so that you can know where the crop block is. So this is the cropland area that we are after for the western part of Africa. For the western part of Africa. And now we can overlay the ESA land use land cover at that area to give us an idea of what is actually happening within this section. And once you're able to overlay this and maybe tell your story around that session, once you click on the share button, you can copy it, then share it with anyone. So once you click on it, all the layers that I've uploaded, everything that I'm seeing, you're also going to see the same thing. So this is what I wanted us to talk. This is what I wanted to talk to you about the new data sets that has been included and how you can actually work with those data sets, how you can compare these two data sets depending on the area that you like to work with. Aside these two laws, so you also have the fractional cover, which is actually a provisional, but it's still under construction. So very soon it will also be available for everyone to use. Then you have the elevation model. And you have the rainfall data also, which is also available. So day in and day out, DataNet Africa continue to make all these time series data sets available for us so that we'll be able to use it in our daily life and make sure that decision makers will also be able to appreciate these graphics that comes out of it to make decisions around our areas. So that's what I have for us today. Thank you very much. Over to you, Ken.
Thank you very much, Edward, for this great presentation. Any questions or comments for Edward? What would you like to see more? Or also any one of you has a presentation?
I have a question to Edward. Maybe I joined late. Is there a particular place where you're selecting the time period?
Over to you, Edward.
Hello. Hello.
Hi, Edward.
Yes, Stella.
Yes, I had a question. I came late. I just wanted to understand, like, is there a particular time frame of your land use land cover, or it's just works on the recent ones?
Yeah, so right now the time is, we only have it for 2020.
Okay, fine. So if I want like a 5-year period for now, it's not possible.
Yeah, currently it's not possible.
Okay, but this is nice. Thanks, Edward.
Thank you, Stella. Thank you, Edward. Anyone who has a question or comments?